Sunday Night Football.
Opportunities like this don't come walking. Let's get it, let's get it. Sunday Night Football, that's what stars are for. Wait, no, it's Sunday night, let's get it. Fire right, yes! You're so cold-blooded. Tip it and intercepted, and the Colts are going to win. When I lose, this is my moment, you will not forget. This is for history. I am the future. Again, he went skyward. Wow! Let's go, Niners! Let the games begin. It's showtime. Let the games begin. I need more. Let's go, man. For Russ, he close one. He makes the catch. Niners win. It's showtime.
It is a beautiful Sunday evening in Denver where two Super Bowl quarterbacks are ready to stand in the spotlight. Through two games, Broncos country hasn't exactly been pleased with their offense led by Russell Wilson. But tonight, they'll look to get it going against the 49ers, who have Jimmy Garoppolo back under center. Sunday Night Football, just over an hour away, right here on NBC. Hello there and welcome to Football Night in America. I'm Maria Taylor alongside Tony Dungy and Jason Garrett. And guys, obviously the headline coming into this one is Trey Lance is out, so Jimmy G is in. But coach, that's a very familiar face. It's why the 49ers kept him. He started 51 games for this squad and won 35 of them. Yes. Very familiar.
And Coach Shanahan knows how Jimmy plays, what he likes. I think that's going to be a big advantage, even though he's only played one game this year. Denver, on the other hand, Russell Wilson, their quarterback, has only played 3 games, and I think Coach Nathaniel Hackett is still getting used to what Russell does well.
Yeah, no doubt both offenses trying to find their footing, but for me, Coach, the story is the defense.
The defense?
On both sides.
Wow.
Small sample size, but top 3 defenses, they're keeping the points down, and it's easy to see why. If you watch the tape from the side, the get-off by the defensive line, they always own the line of scrimmage. The linebackers run everywhere. They don't give up big plays. They disrupt. They're awfully good.
I like you talking defense.
How about that?
A role reversal for our offensive and defensive coaches. We also had a role reversal, guys, in the AFC. We saw Kansas City and the Bills go down, 2 of the top contenders in the AFC. So the question is, what else matters from the early games?
Well, the winless teams that are potentially contenders. Indianapolis, the team that I think is going to be around later in the year, a huge win over Kansas City. Cincinnati in the Super Bowl last year. They go to New York and get their first win. And how about this? 2 0-2 teams. Las Vegas and Tennessee. Tennessee does enough to get it done.
And then in the NFC, Philadelphia is pretty good. We knew that they could run the football. We knew that they could play defense, but getting A.J. Brown has really helped that passing game to go with Devontae Smith, and now Jalen Hurts is just playing lights out for them. They have been off to a great start.
I think Philadelphia is the best team in football right now.
Yeah, and we'll get you the highlights from that game, but one thing that also matters is on the final pass attempt for Mac Jones, he is rolled up under Calais Campbell and immediately grabs his left ankle and hops off straight to the locker room. We'll have an update on that from Mike Florio, who was in the studio this week. So that's what matters from the early games. Let's see what matters to Chris Sims. My guess is it has something to do with quarterback.
Well, you know it. I mean, what else is there, Maria? Quarterbacks, that's right. And we're going to start with one of the best ones in football right now. That's Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, another day of just phenomenal football play, whether it was running the football, dissecting people with accurate passes, or big play passes. He has played great this year, and of course was a big reason, the main reason the Ravens pulled off the big win in New England today. How about this guy right here? Still no pass protection for Joe Burrow. Doesn't matter. He is slippery. He made a lot of big plays under pressure today. Bengals finally get their first win of the year on the road against the New York Jets. And then this man, you heard Coach Jason Garrett say the best team in football. This guy right here is playing like one of the best quarterbacks in football. Beautiful down the field thrower. We know his ability to run. Along with that roster like Jason Garrett's talking about, Eagles are flying high right now. Fly, Eagles, fly, Maria.
That's right, Chris. It hurts so good, and it feels good to welcome our guys back. Jack Collinsworth, Rodney Harrison, hanging out in Broncos country. Good evening, guys.
Maria Taylor, we're flying high ourselves. Mile High Stadium, first time in a long time. Is this as loud as Green Bay, though? I don't know.
It's a lot of fans out here, but I think Green Bay fan base is a little better.
And you heard Maria Taylor say it. Two of the best teams in the AFC, they fall today. The Bills. And you go ahead and you look at Kansas City, who takes a loss. But the Bills with a division loss to Miami. What's the state of the union right now as you look at the East?
I'm looking at the Miami Dolphins, and that was one of the teams that you didn't believe in the first place, Miami Dolphins. And the Bills were missing 5 starters, and the Miami Dolphins took full advantage of that. And I had a lot of respect for Tua Tagovailoa. He left the game. He came back. He was hurt. He showed me some toughness. He showed me some courage, and he led them to victory. But also, I got to give props up to Jalen Waddle. This kid continues to get better. He's making big play after big play. Now they want to get loud. You better watch out for the Miami Dolphins.
Hey, it wasn't Miami I didn't believe in. It was New England I didn't believe in. That's what you got mixed up. I see why everybody's moving to this city of Denver, Colorado. It's been a party ever since we landed in Broncos country. They are looking to ride on a Sunday night, signing some autographs as we count you down live to kick off from Denver.
Let's go.
Well, the best decision the 49ers made all offseason came before week 1 when they decided to keep Jimmy Garoppolo. When Jimmy G plays, San Francisco just wins. And he is back leading a punishing unit that aims to knock every defense square in their mouth, Hot Rod.
Absolutely. And you look at them, they have 3 of the toughest guys, not just in the NFL on this team, but on offense. And it starts with the big fella, Trent Williams. He is the best left tackle in all of football. He's big, he's athletic, he loves to be in open space, and he's always looking for a small defensive back that he can run over. Or George Kittle. He can line up on the line of scrimmage and block somebody 30 pounds heavier than him. Or he can line up as a wide receiver. But he's looking to punish you. Or my boy, Deebo Samuel. You don't know where he's going to be on the football field, but if you're a safety, you're a corner, or even a linebacker, you better come up, put on your big boy pads, because he is a load. And that's why I always say the San Francisco 49ers will always have a chance, because they play a physical brand of football, and I like it.
And you think about Jimmy Garoppolo. He led this team to the NFC Championship game, then takes a $20 million pay cut to come back and play with them. I think he's going to want to hit a few of those incentives as this thing goes along. Back over to you, Maria Taylor.
All right, thanks, Jack. You know, I honestly wish that we could show you all those slick highlights for the Broncos offense, but the reality is they've only scored 2 touchdowns through 18 offensive drives. So my question for you, Coach, is what have you seen and what needs to change?
Well, I think they're still getting used to Russell Wilson, and one of the things they can do, I believe, is use him more outside of the pocket. We'll look at it here. Denver has a great running game, and when you get that running game going, one of the natural things off it would be the naked bootlegs designed for Russell to get out of the pocket. Look what happens to the defense here. Everybody attacking the line of scrimmage on the fake, and now, Jason, this puts Wilson in great shape.
Yeah, all those lime green shirts are over this way. Russell's out here in space by himself, and look at this. If you're Seattle, you don't like the idea. There's a guy in the flat, there's a guy in over, and then Russell Wilson using his feet. That's not the position you want to be in.
All the traffic is here. This can be great for them. Now, you've played against Russell a lot. Defending him, what is going on in that San Francisco defensive meeting?
If we said it once, we said it 1,000 times leading up to the game. Keep him in the pocket. Keep him in the pocket. Make him throw the ball on time. Don't let him get out in space. So I agree with the coach. They need to get him out in space.
And you keep those ends wide. That helps the running game, too. Use Russell out of the pocket tonight, Denver.
I love that you guys are continuing with the role reversal, and like Jason's giving me all of the defense. You're talking offense. We're going to keep that up the entire day on Football Night in America. But Russell Wilson, again, they're looking to get things going. Only 16 points scored in each of the first 2 games, but he's getting set for his 3rd. And remember, he's taking on the 49ers. And he's not only a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but he's also played a big role in growing the game of flag football. Wilson started leagues for kids across the Seattle area, offering access to playing facilities and training tips. And earlier this month, he was named a global flag football ambassador by the NFL and the International Federation of American Football. To find a flag league near you, visit playfootball.com. Let's get you straight to the the highlights. Saints on the road taking on the Panthers, and Alvin Kamara fumbles here. First time back from injury, Mark. Keith Haynes picks it up.
Yeah, a huge play here. It was a defensive struggle type of football game, and the Carolina Panthers defense comes up with 7 points right here. Nice strip. Alvin Kamara didn't play last week. A little loose with the football there, but nice play by the Carolina defense.
The Panthers' first takeaway so far this season. Fourth quarter, Panthers up 6. Mayfield finding LaVisca Chenault.
Really, it was an ugly game from quarterback play, offensive play, but this is just a little ball out in the flat, 3-yard pass. LaVisca Chenault, big touchdown pass. Yeah, quarterbacks like that one right there.
Panthers win at 22-14. Houston Texans taking on the Bears. Remember Lovie Smith, 9 seasons as the Bears head coach. Davis Mills intercepted on this play by Roquan Smith in Texans territory.
Yeah, huge. And really, neither quarterback played very well. Davis Mills makes the big mistakes right there. The story of the game is the running game, certainly, and then the Bears knocking the field goal to win.
281 rushing yards for the Bears. They walk away with the victory. They sit at 2-1. We'll talk about that run game in a little bit. The Lions taking on the Vikings. Lions up 3, facing 4th and 4. Decided to try a field goal, a 54-yarder for Austin Seibert.
Yeah, well, and they had gone for it a bunch during the game. And earlier had gone for it also on another attempt. Didn't make it there. So this was a big decision by Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell says he regrets the decision 100%. Wishes he would have gone for it. The next drive, Kirk Cousins finding K.J. Osborne for 28 yards.
Yeah, well, this is why. Because you kick the field goal, you go up by 6 points. But this Minnesota offense found its rhythm in the second half. We know they're explosive. And Kirk Cousins has some receivers to push the ball down the field.
Yeah, he says, let's run it back. K.J., you open again? What's up? Game-winning touchdown, 28-yarder. The Vikings complete the comeback, overcame a 10-point deficit in the fourth quarter to get the win, 28-24. But let's go back to those fourth down conversions. Dan Campbell, very honest in that post game.
Love him for that.
But they went for it 6 times on fourth down, converted 4 of those.
Right.
What was your thoughts on the decisions made?
Well, I guess it's a little like confusing almost about what's the mantra? What are we trying to do here? You've been aggressive all game long. You know, why not just go for it one other time? But it did come back and bite them in the butt early in the football game. Here was a fourth down. They don't make it. They get 7 points, the Minnesota Vikings, off of that one. Here, it's earlier in the fourth quarter, which I think ultimately led to Dan going, wait, do I really want to go for it again, not make it? Certainly. The offense, Detroit, Jared Goff, they had played well. It was aggressive. It was a tough decision to make there. Yeah. It certainly was. You go up by a touchdown, you go, oh, I want to kick it, make them go down and score a touchdown. But, yeah, he's going to be roll over a few times in bed tonight for sure.
Yeah, you know who's not going to roll over a few times? Chicago Bears. They're getting it done in the run game. They are 2-1, coaches. Let's go to the corner over there and see how they're making it happen on the ground.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch for me as a defensive coach. You quarterbacks maybe aren't going to like it, but that's their philosophy. Matt Eberflus, hey, we want to play defense, we want to run the ball, we want to be physical, and this is how they're going to win games.
Yeah. And Coach Flus calls it the formula for winning. This is the formula. They're going to run the football. Montgomery goes down. They put Herbert in there. He goes for 157 and a couple of scores. They rushed for 281 yards in the National Football League, Coach.
Yeah, downhill running, little gimmicky, and then this is the element that you just can't defend. When it's a pass play called and it turns into a 30-yard run, that's tough on your defense.
Yeah, and people say Justin Fields didn't do anything. He threw it 17 times. He only completed 8 of them. He made a lot of big plays with his feet. In addition to that, those runners getting this thing going, that's how they're going to win games, and then they get the turnover late in overtime. That's the formula.
Get used to it, Bears fans. This is how they're going to play, Maria.
Good stuff, coaches. We've got Mike Flory of Pro Football Talk in the studio. Vikings get the win, Mike, but Dalvin Cook suffered a shoulder injury. What's the latest?
That's right. He had this same injury last year against the 49ers. Missed a game, put on a harness, and had 205 rushing yards against the Steelers on a Thursday night. I'm told that he hadn't been wearing the harness this year. He intends to put the harness back on, and if the doctors clear him, he will play on Sunday against the Saints in London.
All right, good stuff, Mike. You know, not many of us thought that Jimmy G would actually be starting a couple of months ago, but here he is on Sunday Night Football, about to be San Francisco's starting quarterback against the Broncos. But earlier this year, guys, Portuguese artist Rita Cavallo decided to draw Garoppolo every day until the Niners traded him, and of course, that ended up being way longer than she would have ever thought.
A lot of drawings.
Yes, 200 drawings, by the way, Chris. As you can see, she's had a lot of fun with it, tracking him through his training camp activity. We also played off of the Wolf of Wall Street there. She found out that he was going to be able to play this week, so guess what? He's the Undertaker.
Oh, he's alive.
Risen from the dead.
Right.
He's back. Good job, Rita.
This is football night in America. Served by Applebee's.
Let's go!
And we continue from the home of the Broncos. Welcome back to Denver. A glorious night here in Colorado, set for a pretty interesting matchup. Two teams in the West of the opposite conferences as Denver gets a chance to hook up with San Francisco. Of course, now quarterbacked by Jimmy Garoppolo. We sat down with Garoppolo yesterday. What a bizarre 7 months it's been since he quarterbacked this team in the NFC Championship game loss to the Rams. After his shoulder injury, and he comes back, he's in camp. He's not taking part in OTAs, not taking part in training camps. He's not even getting the updates to the playbook. And here he was, for the very first time in his career, thrown in the middle of a series in a meaningful game. When he was Brady's backup, he'd always come in and mop up duty. He comes in last week when Trey Lance gets hurt, leads the victory, and now it's a deep breath, exhale, unpack, and you're staying for a while. He'll be the quarterback of the Niners if he stays healthy all the way through the season. More on his story as the night goes on. We're trying to stop him tonight. A little different task for the Denver defense as we throw it back outside to Jack and Rodney.
Mike Tirico, let's call it what it is. Jimmy G's the winner. Jimmy G comes in and he wins, and he's going to have to face this Broncos defense that has been solid the first couple of weeks. So what's working on that side of the ball for Denver?
I've been really impressed with the two defensive ends, Randy Gregory and Bradley Chubb. These guys have played the most consistent on defensive side of the ball. But tonight they're going to have to deal with Kyle Shanahan and that run game. He wants to run the ball downhill. He wants to make it as physical as possible. Then he wants to create those play-action passes and those bootlegs. When you're on defense, you got to make sure that you stay disciplined, you read your keys, and you're not out there guessing, trying to figure things out.
In the secondary of Denver, they're going to be dealing with Justin Simmons out for a few weeks, dealing with an injury. Patrick Surtain has the shoulder himself, but he's going to have to lead. He's going to have to be great in year number 2.
Justin Simmons is a huge loss for him because of the communication on the back end as a free safety, but also just the playmaking ability.
Right.
But when you look at Patrick Surtain, like you talked about, a top guy, one of the best cornerbacks in the league. He can get up, he can jam you and play physical. He can back off and read all his keys. This is a great young player.
Former top 10 pick. He's been able to develop, learn quickly over his all-pro dad, who was his high school football coach. That always helps. Back over to you, Maria Taylor.
All right, thanks, Jack. We're going to get you back to the highlights. Coach Dungy, the Bengals looking for their first win against the Jets. Joe Burrow told us to relax, and he does it. He finds Samaje Perine as he gets rushed out of the pocket.
And this was the story of the game. He avoided the rush, moved around, made things happen for that Bengals offense.
Jets down 11. Joe Flacco is strip sacked by Trey Hendrickson. Bengals will recover.
Yes, pressure on Flacco all day. Cincinnati just played much, much better today.
Hendrickson had 2.5 sacks today. I have a question for you, Coach. Why is Jamar Chase so wide open?
I would have to say this is miscommunication. 2 guys on the back, no one on Jamar Chase. This is probably not how it was designed.
Yeah, you don't want to guard him. Yeah, just stay away from him. Cincinnati wins 27-12, their first of the season. 2 playoff teams last year start the season 0-2. Raiders taking on the Titans. We go straight to the fourth quarter. Raiders down 11, Jason, and Derek Carr's pass off Darren Waller's hands gets intercepted.
Tennessee dominated this game. Derek Carr made some plays at the end of this ball game to get Las Vegas back in it, but the turnover late in the game was a killer.
Yeah, we were all holding our breath in this one later in the fourth quarter. Raiders down 8, 4th and 15.
How are they one-on-one, Jason? Just one-on-one by themselves.
They didn't watch the tape from last week. All those comebacks.
Matt Collins catches it for 48 yards. There's another one.
One-on-one, jump ball. Just, I don't understand it.
Wild.
Well, maybe you'll understand this. 2-point attempt. Carr looking for Waller again, and it's incomplete. The Raiders fall to 0-3 for the first time since 2018. And the Titans ultimately relying on Derrick Henry in this one, 143 total yards. He got involved also in the passing game. I mean, it was great to see him having a good game when his team was looking for their first win of the season.
And no question, that's what they have to do if they're going to be successful. Get Derrick Henry going early in the game.
Derrick Henry is their best player. And the formula for winning in Tennessee is simple. Give him the ball. Hand it to him. Time and time again. That's what they've done. That's why they've been a playoff team, and so much comes off of that. A lot of big plays, running the football, and then you get all these guys around the line of scrimmage. The play-action game comes alive. Tannehill, a big throw on the deep over. Average per attempt for Tannehill today, almost 10 yards an attempt. So it's all about Derrick Henry.
Why is that? Yes, because we're playing Derrick Henry
down there.
On defense.
Hard play action, create a nice environment for him. He took advantage of it.
Derrick Henry was only targeted 1 time through the first 2 weeks. In this game, he was targeted 6 times, and it resulted in a win and 143 yards for Derrick Henry in total offense. For those of you guys who are just joining us, you finished watching the Packers and the Buccaneers. Tom Brady and the Bucs trying to convert 2-point conversion, and it's ultimately batted down looking for
a delay of game penalty, Maria. They got a delay of game, had to move it back 5 yards.
All right, we got more highlights coming up. We'll get you that whole game from beginning to end, but ultimately the Packers walking away with the win there. Deebo Samuel hoping to do the same thing as they wrap up Week 3 on Sunday Night Football against the Broncos.
Football Night in America is brought to you by Applebee's. All-you-can-eat boneless wings, here for a limited time. And by Corona Extra. Find the fine life. Live La Vida Más Fina.
All right, Broncos fans excited. There we go. Niners in town. We got the warm-ups going. Here we go. It's BetMGM breakdown time with my buddy, my best buddy, Matthew Berry, okay? And one thing we're going to be looking for tonight is the run game of the Denver Broncos. Javonte Williams, he is a bowling ball of power, breaks tackles, certainly looks like he could be a key for them tonight against this 49ers defense.
He's the most talented player in that backfield, Chris. 5.4 yards per carry. That's what he's averaging this season. Last week seemed to finally started to emerge, right? Played 65% of the snaps. That's the most he's played in a game in which Melvin Gordon has been active. My expectation is that he gets going again tonight. They use him a lot. I think he gets over 50 rushing yards tonight, which is what he had last week as well against the Niners.
Yeah, Niners defense is really good. They need to run the ball and open up some of that play action pass game for Russell Wilson. Now let's talk about this guy right here, Deebo Samuel. I mean, this is the key to the 49ers offense. They use him everywhere. He's their best running back. He's their best receiver. And Shanahan's going to line him up all over the field tonight against the Denver Broncos. Matthew Berry, how do you see Deebo Samuel's night playing out here?
Yeah, really well. With Jimmy Garoppolo under center, they need to be more creative and use the rushing ability of Deebo Samuel. He's scored a touchdown in 8 of the last 10 games. He's also had over 30 rushing yards 8 of the last 10 games. So I like his chances to be part of the run game tonight, over 30 rushing yards, and I like his chances to score a touchdown at any time during the game.
I like that too. Usually they get him the ball when they get close to the red zone. Now what you need to do is download the BetMGM Sportsbook app. New customers will get their first bet risk-free up to $1,000 when they use bonus code NBC1000. Maria, over to you.
All right, Chris, we're going to get you back to the highlights. Jason, with the Eagles looking to fly high against Washington, Carson Wentz facing off against his former team, former teammate, Fletcher Cox. Like, good to see you now, man. I might see you later. You'll be on your back, though. But first, Josh Sweat with the sack against Wentz.
I feel like I spent my life trying to block Fletcher Cox. I mean, he's still doing it. It's unbelievable how good this guy is. He was in the backfield all day long. 9 sacks for the Eagles. Wow. Key to the game.
Yes.
Look at him go.
That's the most time Wentz has been sacked in his career. Hurts, though, finding A.J. Brown for the 9-yard touchdown. Brown throws on the Batman cape after the TD. I'm going to explain to you why in a little bit.
He's the swole Batman.
Okay. Later in the second, Hurts hooking up with Devontae Smith. That's 44 yards.
Hurts does a great job throwing the deep ball, the post to Devontae, the 1-2 punch of A.J. and Devontae, pretty tough for the Eagles.
All right, he finds Smith again. Now, there are no Robins, just a bunch of Batmans, according to cornerback Darius Slay. So that's why we got the Batman cape. That's why Devontae Smith puts it on, and the Eagles fly high to 3-0 with that 24-28.
Devontae's the skinny Batman.
He's the skinny Batman. I like it. All right, we got Ravens, we got Patriots, and 3rd and goal, Mac Jones in the end zone, intercepted.
Yeah, just an ill-advised throw. And this is what we didn't see from Mac Jones last year, bad throws in the red zone.
Next drive, Jones finding Nelson Aguilar, but the rookie Kyle Hamilton punches it out.
Great play coming from behind, staying after the ball. Turnovers really saved Baltimore today.
4 New England turnovers. Ravens capitalized. Lamar Jackson doing Lamar Jackson things.
Yeah, just that extra element that you really can't defend.
And then final minutes, you see that after Lamar Jackson scores, there's 5 total touchdowns, but the final minute, Jones steps back for the final pass of the game. He is intercepted by Marcus Peters, so that's another takeaway.
Yeah, trying to make something happen. Baltimore comes up with the play, but the big thing was the injury, Maria.
Yeah, I mean, he grabs his left ankle immediately. He's rolled up, and it's time for a PFT update brought to you by Google Pixel. Mike, what is the latest?
We saw Mac Jones there hobble off the field. He was actually carried to the locker room in obvious agony after the game. Shockingly, Coach Belichick had nothing to say about the situation at all. Here's what we can say. X-ray's negative. There's clearly an issue, though, with that ankle. And if he misses time, look to the backups, 36-year-old Brian Hoyer and rookie Bailey Zappi as the two who would have to step up and perform.
All right, thanks, Mike. Well, the next game is the Packers, so what is the impact of a Mac Jones injury on this team?
Well, I think it's the coaching staff. They're trying to get used to Mac Jones and what he can do with new play callers, and now you may have another quarterback.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Belichick this summer. He said this is a new offense. The offense they've had there for 20 years is Tom Brady's offense. They wanted to make Mac Jones' offense. So if he's not in the lineup, there's going to be some real interesting questions up there in New England.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We've been talking about their offense all preseason, right? So we don't know where to go there. And then, now it's just more pressure on their run game, their defense. And I'm not sure how great they are to be able to just carry the team without Mac Jones. So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, there's someone who's used to carrying a team. His name is Lamar Jackson, and that's exactly what he did against the Patriots. He accounted for 5 touchdowns, his second straight game with at least 100 yards rushing. Lamar doing Lamar things. And here's his head coach, John Harbaugh, and his thoughts on his QB.
He plays his way, and he's kind of determined to play his way, but it's not his way. It's winning football, man. It's fundamentally sound quarterback play. He's running the show out there. He's making the checks. He's managing the clock. All the things that you would say an operator or a manager does, he's doing all those things too.
We're going to call it Lamar's way. 12 total touchdowns through 3 games. It's been impressive, Chris.
He's special. I mean, their defense, we're still trying to figure out what they are. Their offensive line and run game haven't been great. And Lamar today was the team once again. I mean, just doing everything a little bit. But he's been so impressive this year. I know coaches that we've been really impressed with his ability in the drop-back pass game in the pocket.
That, to me, has been the big difference, throwing these tight balls in tight windows from the pocket.
And then he does this. he pulls it out and runs like none other. And, Coach Harbaugh afterwards said it's winning football. His whole career has been winning football.
It has.
39-13 as a starter. He's won 75% of his games. So this is a special player. To me, he's the NFL's version of Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge said, I'm not signing the contract. I'm just going to hit 62 home runs.
This guy didn't pay me the big bucks.
This guy didn't sign the contract either. He just 5 touchdowns every week.
The thing that stood out to me today, playing against Bill Belichick, he always is going to take away your best weapon. He took away to 5 touchdowns. Didn't really take Lamar away.
Can we stop talking about whether he could throw the ball down the field with his right arm? Can that silence that? Well, I'm sick of hearing everybody else talk
I knew that he could. Meanwhile, they have the Bills next week, so that'll be a great quarterback showdown. We're actually looking forward to a quarterback showdown here today. We got Russell Wilson playing in his 3rd game with the Broncos, looking to get his offense going, and he'll be taking on Jimmy G, who started 51 games for the 49ers, stepping in as a backup.
This is what happens when we get together.
Rubbed in the bucket. Fire. Touchdown. One-handed grab. And the house is back alive.
Wow. That's the dagger, my friend. No. This is what happens when we get together. Welcome back, Jimmy. He will die for the end zone. Russell looks. He makes the catch. Touchdown, Denver. Make some noise, Broncos country.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
We're getting you set for the Week 3 nightcap. Look at the old school jersey, got a little Elway logo.
It still gives me nightmares.
Jerry Rice gave a lot of people nightmares, Jason, throughout his career.
And how about that guy, number 18?
I'll get one of those.
The all-time greats. Hey, 4 of the all-time greats. Throw Steve Young in there.
Oh, what about Montana?
How about that?
Come on.
That's Mount Rushmore right there.
Quarterbacks in this rivalry.
Hard to get 5 better than those jerseys.
Yeah, we got it all covered. All right, let's talk about some youngins in the game. Jaguars taking on the Chargers. Justin Herbert dealing with a rib injury. Still gets the start 2nd quarter. Herbert on this play is strip sacked.
The Jacksonville defense, Maria, was everywhere all game long. Justin Herbert, the Chargers offense, could really never find a rhythm. And as you know, he was kind of nursing those sore ribs today.
Yeah, it looked like he was in a little bit of agony there, but Trevor Lawrence not. To Marvin Jones Jr., the 11-yard touchdown is good. His 3rd TD, his most since his first career game. game.
Watch out for the Jags. Trevor's on fire. The defense is good.
Big win, 38-10 against the Charger. Okay, the Falcons taking on Seattle. Marcus Mariota to the rookie Drake London.
It was back and forth all game long, and the rookies, the young guys, stepped up.
Yes.
Drake London spins out of it, a stiff arm and a finish. Kyle Pitts also had a huge game for them. The skill guys, the youth in Atlanta showing up.
Final drive for Seattle. Geno Smith on 4th and 18. Looking, and is intercepted by Richie Grant. He makes the pick, and the Falcons get their first win of the season, 27-23 off of that play.
Play with depth and vision on the ball, Coach. We've seen a lot of comebacks lately. Atlanta did it the right way.
Coverage, man-to-man, right.
There you go. Seal the win. All right, Rams taking on the Cardinals. The Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp takes the handoff.
Amazing how they just come up with more ways to get Cooper Kupp the ball.
That's his first career rushing touchdown. Can't believe that. Still in the first. Kyler Murray. Got to find a way to contain him, Coach.
Yeah, speaking of milestones, how about 100 sacks for Aaron Donald?
Impressive. Most in the NFL since he entered the league in 2014. That one against Kyler Murray. Third quarter, Rams up 4. Cam Akers taking the handoff.
Yeah, they got the running game going in the second half. Akers, we've been wondering where he's been. Well, he showed up today.
His first touchdown of the season. Hello, Cam. How you doing? Fourth quarter, Cardinals down 11. Going for it on 4th down instead of kicking the field goal.
Yeah, and the defense did a great job of keeping Kyler Murray in the pocket, making him win from the pocket all day.
Yes, so that means that the Rams walk away with the victory. It was. But let's talk about the Rams defense, because we knew coming in you have to find a way to contain Kyler Murray. We've seen what he can do when he gets out of the pocket and makes those scramble plays, but the Rams were able to pull it off.
They did, and they've got the type of front that they could rush, put pressure on him, but fast enough to contain him, and that's what they did. And then offensively, running game in the second half.
Coach, I spent a day with the Rams during training camp, talked to Matthew Stafford. He said there were days in practice where they couldn't run offensive plays because Aaron Donald would just simply disrupt. So he's the best there is. That milestone for him, 100 sacks. He's an elite player. They played awfully well on defense.
Yeah, how about this? Kyler Murray, 2 rushes for just 8 yards. That tells you everything you need to know about the way he was contained in this one. Meanwhile, Chris Sims, you had your eye on the Jags?
Yes, I do. Can you believe we're saying that? But the Jags are impressive through 3 weeks. They're 2-1. Their defense is really what jumps out to me. We know Trevor Lawrence, the run game, they played well today. But they are really young and explosive on the defensive line. They make a lot of plays here. Here's a rookie linebacker, Devin Lloyd, out of Utah, first-round pick. He's a phenomenal football player. But Herbert and company could never get it going on that side of the ball all game long. He got hit a lot. There was no run game to talk about with the Chargers. Jacksonville, young, learning how to win. They could be kind of scary, Maria, in the AFC.
Maria, we were at the Hall of Fame game. 2 of my ex-players are on that Jags coaching staff, and they said Doug Peterson has brought the maturity that they've needed.
Yeah, and how about the Jacksonville Jaguars? They outscored their opponents 62-10 in the last 2 games. You saw a sneak peek of them. It's time for the Sunday Night 7. $100,000 up for grabs. Matthew Berry, more receiving yards, Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton?
Maria, I'm taking Cortland Sutton. A team-high 26% target share for Cortland Sutton. Half of his targets so far this year have come on deep passes. We talked earlier about setting up the run game. That's going to help play action and get those deep passes to Cortland Sutton. So give me him in the Sunday Night 7. Next question. This is a fun one. Who scores the first touchdown? People wondering about that. Give me Jeff Wilson Jr., who had 20 touches last week. He leads the team in goal-to-go carries this season. So Jeff Wilson Jr. is my pick for first touchdown tonight on the Sunday Night 7.
All right. Find out if you agree with Matthew. Make your picks for free on the NBC Sports Predictor app. Nathaniel Hackett, in his first season as the head coach for the Broncos, we are going to discuss the adjustments he's making moving forward for this team.
Welcome to the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff.
It's time to get a little respect. Now, not everyone's welcome into the Champions Club. But Jimmy G belongs.
Welcome back!
Nick. Debo.
Delivering the damage.
Fred. You've all earned their respect.
We're thrilled to welcome
Enter Russell Wilson.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Let's ride. Let's ride.
Let's ride.
The Broncos finally have their quarterback, right?
Who's raining down?
Booing already?
Unbelievable.
I like that. Take it from an international gaming icon. These teams are Champions Club caliber.
I need you. Let's get it.
Russell Wilson.
But Russell,
Let's go.
tonight, it's game over.
Game over.
The Niners ride. Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Dr. Disrespect knows exactly what tonight is about. Jimmy Garoppolo returns to a starting role after leading the team to a win last weekend, and Russell Wilson has a 17-4 record against San Francisco, but now he has a new head coach in Nathaniel Hackett, and he sparked debate week number 1, the 64-yard field goal attempt instead of Wilson getting the ball on a 4th down and 5. So, Rod, how do you see that decision?
It's crazy to me. I mean, you think about him. They gave up half the franchise to get this guy. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and you don't give it to him on a 4th down and 5. I just didn't understand it, Jack.
I'm with you on that. Let's go on the field, presented by Hyundai in Denver. They have talented runners for Russ to lean on. What do you like about the Broncos' backfield?
I love the way they rotate both these guys. They keep them fresh. They keep them healthy. I like Javonte Williams. He's a young, hungry running back. He breaks a lot of tackles. He runs extremely hard. And Melvin Gordon, he's no longer a starter at this time in his career, but he's still a very good backup. The one thing they have to do is they have to make sure they don't fumble the ball in the red zone on the goal line.
And for San Francisco, we have seen Nick Bosa attack Russell Wilson with pure athleticism. He already has 3 sacks so far on the year.
Yeah, and General Manager John Lynch told me without Eric Armstead, it's going to put a lot more pressure on Nick Bosa to have to step up. Another guy I'm looking at, Javon Kinlaw. He's a big presence in the middle. Can't wait to see what happens tonight.
Bosa and Wilson, they were NFC West rivals, and now they meet once again in different jerseys on the part of Wilson. Over to you, Maria.
All right, thanks, Jack. I want to go back to Nathaniel Hackett because obviously the new head coach for the Broncos has had some game management issues, and you guys have been young coaches before. You've stood in those shoes. So what are some of the changes that you could make moving forward if you're Hackett to improve that?
Well, I'll tell you, Maria, that first year coaching, it's just like being a rookie quarterback. The game is happening fast. It slows down for you eventually, but making those decisions, especially early in your career, is tough. And I wasn't even calling the plays, Jason.
Yeah, I did it for a couple of years, and the one thing I would say is they're 2 full-time jobs. Head coach is a full-time job, trust me, 24-hour-a-day job. The same thing as an offensive coordinator. So if you're doing both, you really need help with each of them. When you're locked in on being a coordinator, you got to make sure that some people are helping with the head coach stuff during the week and also during the game, and vice versa. Sometimes as a head, you need some guys on the offensive staff that you can rely on to help you call the plays. And if you get locked in on 3rd and 7, hey, what am I going to call on 3rd and 7? Sometimes those head coaching responsibilities get out of your mind. So you just need people. You got to get your systems in place, your structures in place, how you communicate, again, during the week and also during the ball game.
And Nathaniel Hackett brought in some help this week, and I think that's good to take some things off his plate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the help is Jerry Rosberg. He's been hired as a senior assistant. He's going to sit in the booth and also advise on coaching decisions. A 66-year-old coach has also been the special teams coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens in the past, is retired, so he'll be there to help. Let's get to the final highlights that we have for the day. We start with the Chiefs taking on the Colts. 4th quarter, the Colts down 4, going for it on 4th and 1. Jonathan Taylor stunned.
You would think Jonathan Taylor would be an automatic first down. They didn't make it, gave the Chiefs a chance.
All right, so Travis Kelce getting a chance in the end zone. Coach drops it.
This is one Kelce is usually going to make, but this has been a problem for the Chiefs this year, finishing drives in the red zone, and they didn't have Harrison Butker today.
Yeah, so Matt Amendola, he misses the 34-yarder. He also missed an extra point today. All right, so the Colts with the chance. Matt Ryan stepping back, sacked, though, by Nick Bolton on 3rd down.
And this should end the drive, big sack. But what happens is a little talk here, and I still don't understand this. The penalty is called on Chris Jones. I don't understand it for talking.
Yeah, unsportsmanlike conduct. Something was said, I guess, that the officials didn't like. So the penalty keeps the Colts drive alive. 29 seconds to go. Ryan to the rookie Jelani Woods for a 2nd TD.
And that was a great throw to finish off that drive, give the Colts the lead.
The 3rd-round pick from Virginia coming up big. Mahomes, last chance, pass tipped and intercepted.
Yeah, a lot of traffic in there. All the receivers coming to the inside. I didn't understand this play call here.
All right, so the Colts get their first win of the season, hand Chiefs their first loss, and Matt Ryan gets his first win as a Colt as they get the victory 20-17 in their home opener. And we had a ball game in Miami, Jason. Let's talk about it. Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa, pair of the 2-0 AFC East teams going head-to-head. Second quarter, game tied at 14. Tua getting open and looking for Jalen Waddle. It's complete, but Tua is shaken up on this play. Check out the replay. He's pushed, he hits his head on the back of the helmet, on the turf, and he stumbles as he's getting back up and ends up having to go to the locker room.
Yeah, and you know, our heart, hey, what's going on with Tua? It looked like it was going to be a head injury, and then sure enough, he comes back out in the second half. So this was a wild game. Buffalo had 90 offensive plays. Miami had 39. Never seen anything like it.
Let's get to one of those Miami offensive plays. Fourth quarter, 3rd and 22, down by 3 to Waddle for 44 yards.
They made the most of them, didn't they, Coach?
Yes, and Buffalo missing their 2 Pro Bowl safeties there.
Well, 2 plays later, it's Chase Edmonds who scores from 3 yards out. That's his second touchdown on the day. Miami takes their first lead of the ball game, 21-17 there. Now the Bills have to answer. Josh Allen looking for Devin Singletary.
Josh Allen was the answer, and his movement was critical in this game. Found Singletary there.
Later in the drive, Allen, 8 yards, and he can do it with his legs too, Jason.
He's incredible. They are a Josh Allen-centric football team. He threw it 62 times. He made a ton of plays with his feet as well.
Huge 4th down here at the 2-yard line. Allen.
I think he had some indecision there on who he was going to go to, Jason.
Yeah.
Ultimately incomplete, but then we have the butt punt. I guess that's what we're calling it. Thomas Mozart kicks it off his own player, goes out of the back of the end zone for a safety. Dolphins only up 2 after this play. You can't make this up.
They haven't obviously practiced very much punting from the 1-yard line.
Okay, there was a lot of heat going on. You see Stephon Diggs taking a break, a lot of cramping happening for the Bills. The final chance for Buffalo, 18 seconds left. Allen getting it to Isaiah McKenzie, but McKenzie cannot get out of bounds here.
Great job by the Dolphins. Protect the sideline in this situation. Don't let him get out of bounds.
Tick, 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 tick. And they can't get the last one snapped.
Yeah, unfortunately, that would be the final play of the game. Offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey was very angry, visibly upset after that final sequence. But the Dolphins somehow managed to be the only undefeated team in the AFC with the victory, 21-19. But you talked about it. Let's talk about the Dolphins being resilient. Check out that time of possession and the difference. I mean, if this game was played on paper, you can see that the Bills would have won, but somehow they stayed alive in this one, Jason.
90 offensive plays and you lose 90-39. It was incredible. A lopsided 40 minutes of time of possession. But let's give the Dolphins credit. If you think about their 3 wins this year, they've won different ways. And the best teams I've been around, you find a way to win. They beat New England in week 1, the wild one against Baltimore last week, and then this game today where they somehow, some way figured it out.
And I love the mentality that Coach McDaniel is setting there. Last game, hey, we're down 21 with 12 minutes to go. Don't worry about it. Hey, we 90 plays to 39. Don't worry about it. Make the play that matters when you have to make it, and that's what the Dolphins are doing.
Hey, look, it's a fun team to watch for sure, but now it's time for the Sunday Night Game Flow presented by Progressive. And Chris, you're looking at that Dolphins defense.
Well, how could you not? Like Coach Garrett talked about, on the field for 90 plays, but like Coach Dungy said, on all the got-to-have-it plays, the Dolphins defense, yes, they were feisty. Those feisty Finns down there in South Florida. Javon Holland, strip sack there. Then the great play by Keon Cross. It looks like a touchdown. Gabe Davis, no, strips the ball out, ends up being a field goal drive for the Buffalo Bills. And then Xavier Howard makes a great play here on a 3rd down inside the red zone. The Miami defense talented and very opportunistic and big time in big moments today, Maria.
All right, Chris, that was the Sunday Night Game Flow presented by Progressive. But let's go back to Tua. Mike Florio, he's still in the studio. And remember, he was injured. He returned back to the game. Could you give us a little bit more understanding of what happened in that play?
Here's how the concussion protocol works. We saw the head hit the ground. The key was the wobble when he got up. The league calls that gross motor instability. That means straight to the locker room for an evaluation by the team physician and the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant. And if they find that that wobble, that instability has a neurological cause, the player does not return. Here, they found that it was the result of a back injury that had happened earlier in the game, so he is cleared to come back and play. Now, the NFL Players Association has already launched an investigation. The league and the union will work together. They'll talk to the doctors. They'll talk to Tua Tagovailoa, and they'll come to a conclusion as to whether the policy was followed. It'll take about a week or 2, and if they disagree, there could be a grievance, there could be an arbitration. But under the concussion protocol, they have always come to an agreement as to whether or not the policy was or wasn't followed. We'll find out whether that's the case here.
All right, thanks for the update, Mike. And we have one more highlight to get you through. It's the Packers taking on the Bucks, which means you're getting Brady, which means you're getting Rodgers. Yes, you are getting 7 NFL MVPs between the two of them. And we'll take you to the first quarter. Packers down 3. Rodgers finding his rookie, Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah, run play called. Rodgers aborts it, throws the pass for a touchdown.
First career touchdown for the 4th-round pick. Then the Packers up 7-3. Rodgers to Lazard.
Same thing again. Run play called. He sees the opening, throws a touchdown pass.
Okay, take us to the 4th quarter. Bucks down 14-6. Tom Brady looking to make something happen. Russell Gage, 1-yard TD.
Great play. Fake pick, fake outside, come back inside, get the touchdown. This is after a delay of game on the 2-point play. You can't have a delay of game there.
Bucks going for it on the 2-point conversion from the 7. Gage, that pass is incomplete. The Packers win. The Bucks suffer their first loss of this season. But I want to go back to that final play, Coach, and what you said. It's about execution, especially in end-of-game situations.
Yeah, you have to know. You're down 8 points, okay? You're going to score a touchdown. You've got to have your 2-point play called already, Jason,
Absolutely,
don't you?
absolutely. Get those things started. We're going to get in this situation, anticipate. You said it, Coach. Very different running that play from the 7 versus the 2-yard line.
All right, well, next week, Coach, we're going to hop on a plane and head down to Tampa Bay and watch the Bucks take on Kansas City. It'll be great. That'll be our Sunday night football game. Next week, the 2 great defenses will be on display. But also tonight, you get to see some. DeMeco Ryans, defensive coordinator for the 49ers, is leading an outstanding defensive front.
Yeah, his second year with this group, he's got some great front players, and I love what he's doing, taking advantage of that talent up front.
Speed, and more speed on all 3 levels.
It's an impressive, and they're going to go against another excellent defensive line in the Broncos.
Yes, and again, defense is going to take the stage, trying to contain these mobile quarterbacks.
Ajiro Aviro, his first season as NFL defensive coordinator, making it look easy for the Broncos. Your Week 3 nightcap, San Francisco 49ers taking on the Broncos. Right now, 49ers headed into the locker room, and Russell Wilson looking to get Broncos country hyped up, looking for a victory in Week 3. All right, let's get to the best of exactly what we've already seen throughout this beautiful Sunday of play. And the question is, can anybody stop Lamar Jackson, Tony?
No, Bill Belichick usually takes away the best weapon, but they had no answers for Lamar today.
5 touchdowns for Lamar, 4 through the air, and the Ravens pull away from the Patriots, get the victory, and the Colts also get their first win of the year, Jason.
Hey, heck of a job by Matt Ryan, Frank Reich, and this Colts team coming back. They got waxed by Jacksonville last week, a huge win against Kansas City. Ryan makes the big throw to Woods at the end of the game.
The Chiefs suffering their first loss there. Meanwhile, Justin Herbert starting, but it was Trevor Lawrence we're talking about.
Yeah, you're starting to see Trevor Lawrence get more comfortable with Doug Peterson's offense. They played great today.
Get the victory 38-10 against the Chargers. Rams containing Kyler Murray. Cooper Kupp being Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp is the best receiver in football and showing you how he can beat you so many different ways. That's his first rushing touchdown. Good job by Sean McVay just getting him the ball.
3 simple words, fly, Eagles, fly. 3-0 so far on the season.
A.J. Brown has made a big difference in this offense. They have just lightened things up in the passing game with Batman.
There you go. There are no Robins on that team. Straight Batman. 3 touchdown passes for Hurts. Green Bay taking on Tampa. The final seconds, it came down to this, Jason.
Low-scoring affair down there. Don't bet against Tom Brady. Fitz went in there to Russell Gage, but then the 2-point play. They took the delayed game penalty. Hard to make it from the 7-yard line. Green Bay steps up on D.
Yeah, Packers handing the Bucks their first loss of the season. And then, really, I feel like the game of the day, Buffalo taking on Miami. Game in the AFC. Tua looked great, Coach.
Yes, Buffalo missing a lot of their pass defenders there, and in limited opportunities, Tua took advantage of it.
All right, that was the best of Week 3, brought to you by Verizon, the network America relies on. And let's start there, because those were some huge games in the AFC. We saw 2 of the top contenders go down. And what was your takeaway?
You know, Kansas City, Indianapolis. Indianapolis had a hard game last week in Jacksonville. Kansas City, arguably the best team in the AFC. Gus Bradley has had a hard time against Mahomes in his career. Down, 6-2. Somehow he kept them under control today. Huge win for the Colts.
And you were talking about Buffalo earlier, maybe being a little too Josh Allen-centric and making him make too many plays. Miami played well. Buffalo missing a lot of guys on defense. I thought the defense held up. offense just didn't really finish off some drives.
Josh Allen is spectacular. I mean, he's an unbelievable player, but they need to balance this thing out a little bit more and spread that burden around.
All right, we've got 2 3-0 teams remaining. That's Miami and Philly, and maybe the New York Giants could make it a third. We'll see on Monday, but it's time now for the home team picks brought to you by Lowe's, and we start out with Jack and America's pick.
Maria, 67% of the country is on San Francisco. I do think Denver will figure out a winning formula, but San Francisco already has one, and it's old school punishing football. Give me the 49ers. Rod, who's going to win and why?
I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers. George Kittle's back. He's healthy. He's a problem to try to defend. But that run game, I think Kyle Shanahan's going to run the ball down their throat, and if you run it toward Randy Gregory.
Amen. You're undefeated. Florio, who you going with, my friend?
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, I like the 49ers in this one, too. But, Matthew, can the Broncos at least get a partial win if they're able to get the plays off without the fans counting down the remaining time?
Fair enough, yes. Russell Wilson on the sideline here. Look, 2 good defenses, 2 offenses in transition as the Niners go from Trey Lance to Garoppolo. Russell Wilson needs to find himself. I think Russell Wilson does not have 3 bad games in a row. Give me the Broncos at home tonight. Chris?
I'm going with the human emotion element. Shanahan going back to Denver, Colorado, where he grew up. He's going to want to put on a show, and I think that 49er offense is going to feel the bump of Jimmy G. 49ers, 27-17.
All right, I'm rolling with the 49ers as well. Coach?
Hey, San Francisco, we've been talking about formulas for winning. They have the formula. Jimmy G's back in there. They're going to run the ball, play great defense, make it hard on Russell Wilson. I say 49ers.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be very, very simple. Who can run the football, get that going, and then that'll set up the play-action passes off it. I think San Francisco is going to be very physical with their running game and win it.
Do we find, or do we get to see a more impressive Denver offense, you think, in Week 3?
I think we will. I think they'll see Russell Wilson do a little bit more tonight.
A lot of new pieces there. I think as they go, they'll get better and better, but not tonight.
All right, well, we will all find out. Those were tonight's home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. And guess what, guys? We are all set for Sunday Night Football. Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers against Russell Wilson, the new-look Broncos. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark have the call after Carrie Underwood kicked us off. See you at the half.
This has been the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff. Spanish language audio provided by Telemundo Deportes. Or watch tonight's game in Spanish on Universo.